So I want to show some of the tools that we want to use for the homework. And one of them that I mentioned, which is not specific to our next homework, but we definitely are going to use, is Audacity. So just making sure that I'm actually sharing the right screen. Okay, what's this? Yeah, so if you just type in Audacity in Google search, you should be able to get to the page where you can download Audacity for free. And then if there's anything that, I'm talking and you don't see, just either interrupt me or, yeah, I think voice, but I'm also keeping the screen open so you can either give me thumbs up or, okay, thanks. So once you download and install Audacity, this is an audio editor that allows you to record sounds, open sounds. So I have it open here, and in the simplest way, if you're using a microphone, you can just record whatever the microphone hears. You can open sound files, and then you can play it back. I'm not sure if, yeah, hopefully I'm sharing the audio of this as well, but yeah, you can just record whatever the microphone plays. Yeah, and then you can do simple things like, you can cut and paste things. You can create new tracks, and like if you add in another mono track or stereo track, you can paste things on different tracks. And it has a lot of other tools that allow you either to synthesize or analyze things. You can also provide some effects. We're not covering this too much, but we will use this as a basic recorder, and I'll show you in a second how to do this. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can manipulate audio. You can, if you have more than one track and you want to mix them, bounce them together, that's also pretty easy. So just for example, here's, you can, if I take these three tracks, I'll create another track. Let's say I put something here. So right now I'll have here's whatever I have these three tracks playing together. Okay, here I'm selecting which area I want to use. But anyway, once I have them, I can go and I can export them together.
You're still showing the
okay.
browser.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll have to repeat this. Let me, every time I need to switch to sharing. Thanks for letting me know. So I'll show it quickly again. So if we have Audacity and we have a track, we can just record anything we're saying or anything we're recording. We can also open a sound file. So in this case, I just recorded what I was talking, my speech. And then I can, of course, save this, and I'll show how to save this, export this as an audio file. But even before doing this, I want to show the basic editing operations. So I can mark an area, I can copy, paste it. Okay, I can create a new track, and I can paste it there in some other locations if I want to go and kind of do some edits and create a mix. I can have multiple tracks. Now let's say I have these three playing together. I can mark here a region if I want to limit this to anything very, anything. Okay, also anything we're saying. Also anything we're saying. So I have these three tracks working together. I can actually shift them also pretty easily. And then I can go down and export everything as MP3 or as WAV. Let's say I go with MP3, and basically it will create a new file let me just put it somewhere on the desktop. Yep. So saving the project will save the whole project, but basically, if we want to export them as MP3, I can do track by track. If I want to mix everything together, I will go to export multiple, okay? And then I can either split the files based on tracks, or, I mean, there are some other ways to do this. And this way I can save multiple files together. If I'm saving everything in one track, it asks you, tracks will be mixed down and exported as one mono file. And that's what it does. It will basically play them all together into one. And then if I go and, I can put some metadata, some tags, but eventually I have this file. And then if I go and look for this on my desktop somewhere, I have this file. So I'll just drag this down here to show what we ended up having. And I'll solo it so I can play only this track. And this is what it should sound like. Let's record anything we're recording. So you can hear that in this section we had all the three files together. So that's pretty much, all you need to know eventually if you want to edit some of the recordings for the assignment, because we might be using some tools that generate audio rather than LMMS that works with MIDI. And in LMMS, you do export your sounds as audio file, but we'll be doing some experiments with tools that don't have recording capacity. So we will and then use Audacity to grab these sounds. So this is a really quick part about Audacity. And now I want to go and look into some of the other tools. Let me make sure that I'm sharing again. So I'll open Canvas. I have it open somewhere, but I'll open it here. So we are sure to have the same class, right? So just a quick thumbs up to make sure that we see the canvas. Then cool. So in the homework, assignment 3, sorry. Composition 3. I mentioned Lexikon Sonata. I edited and added these links. These are other tools that I'm going to introduce on Wednesday, but I already put them here because if somebody wants to start doing this homework, you can explore any of these tools. So let me quickly show the Lexikon Sonata. If I go to Lexikon Sonata, and the instructions are also appear on the module where I talk about contemporary composition. There is a little bit more explanation about what you need to run the Lexikon Sonata, but this is an example of a tool that I like to use. It might be not the most simple one, so we'll also talk about the other tools quickly. So this is an algorithmic music generator by Austrian composer Karl-Heinz Essel. You can download this and install it. I have it already installed. So if you run it, you have something like this. It opens up with an interface that gives you a piano with these little buttons. Now, let me make sure that you can see that. I think it's on the desktop, but no, here. Can you see now the interface? It's the Lexikon Sonata. And when you open it, you see this keyboard with these little buttons. They have numbers here. So if I trigger a button to actually play something, I have to turn on the audio. So I forgot about that. Now, am I sharing audio here? Yes. But somehow there are issues that happen with this. Just recording sounds on through Zoom. One thing that you need to know, and let me verify, maybe that's the reason that we don't hear much. Right now it's playing through built-in microphone, built-in output. So this is why, oh, Zoom audio device, okay. But if I play through Zoom audio device, I'm not sure if it will support the right rate. In the settings, you also need to load so-called VST piano plugin. I have it already downloaded, and the instructions for where to find it and appear, sorry, VST plugin here, in in the module in class where I talk about the contemporary compositional techniques. I also provide a link all the way down here. This is the software, and this is the VST plugin that will allow you to use the free piano, because Lexikon Sonata kind of doesn't come with its own sound fonts or its own synthesizer, so you have to load this with the VST plugin. Very much like what we did with sound fonts, you have to download sound fonts for LMMS. So here it requires a VST plugin. You can find it here, and then I'll talk about using Soundflower to route audio from the Lexikon Sonata to Audacity. And this trick of using Soundflower is actually useful for other software as well. So let me switch quickly to talk about the Lexikon Sonata, and hopefully we'll have the sounds. Okay, for some reason I don't hear anything. And I tested this before without Zoom and played. So I guess this something has to do with let me try stop sharing the audio and see if I can hear it myself here. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so it's playing. Let me try to play this on Zoom and let me know if you'll be able to hear it. Do you hear it? Sound? So the idea is that you have these different textures. We spoke about random or aleatory composition. So here, what the composer did, he actually pre-programmed some algorithms that would generate these sound patterns. So for instance, here's something like glissando, which is assigned to button here, which is L, right? Every time you press it, we'll have a different glissando. And they also randomly stop and start. You have all kinds of trills. Also the dynamics changes. So you kind of like experiment with these buttons, and then you can actually go and start improvising. So you can go create some sort of a melody, and then maybe okay, but we can improvise with these really hard concepts of sound, turning them on and off, and that kind of creates a little composition, right? Um, so almost like a just improvisation tool. I think, you know, once you get inspired, get a little bit into the mood, you can get some really nice moments. Now, of course, we compose you with textures and ideas that are totally atonal, and the rhythmic part is really abstract. You have densities, you have layers. So this is kind of the Lexikon Sonata tool. Really fun thing to explore and compose with. Now, let's say, how do we use this for the homework? So one thing that we want to do is now change the output. Now we're playing the Zoom audio device. We change it to what we call, what I have here installed, Soundflower. Now, Soundflower is something that you need to install as an extra. Actually, I give here, in the instructions here, I give a link to Soundflower. This is specifically for the Mac. So if you are not on the Mac, I had some links for equivalent audio routing software on Windows and Linux, but I don't have anything right now that you know, I've recently tested. I don't have a Windows machine right now. So that'll be a little bit more complicated. So if somebody needs help with this and cannot find or finds it and doesn't work, I can try to set up office hours and kind of work through the installation. But Sunflower is basically software. There are instructions here to how to install it. And then if you successfully go and install that version, this is here instructions for using the terminal, but there is also not building yourself. Let me see, what was the easiest way to have the precompiled version. Sorry about that. I had it installed and was kind of precompiled installer. Well, I mean, you can follow these instructions verbatim if you open the terminal. So if you open the terminal, you can actually type these things in, and okay, I have an existing terminal, but if you open a new terminal, you can just type these instructions in and it will work for you. There was also a different installer that was more like a download. So I'm surprised that this is the only link I provided. Okay, bear with me for a second. Yeah, I mean, I'll change the link, but you can just download the package and you can install Sunflower and install it without any special command lines. So once you have it installed, basically you will have in your audio software and this extra selection for the output device or the input device. So what we'll do is actually I'll send the output of Lexikon Sonata to Sunflower, and I will go back to Audacity and let me kind of open and close all these tracks. And I will have, instead of the input, instead of the built-in microphone, I'll have a Soundflower as an input. So here there will be a little bit of a coordination issue. Basically, I will be playing here. Okay, I'll be playing notes here. I cannot hear them right now because everything goes to Soundflower. And I will push a record button on the Soundflower. And as we play, we should have the input coming from, so for some reason that thing didn't work right. Yeah, it starts showing up. So what we have now is that the things that we do here, okay, these little trills and then glissandi are basically routed as audio into the Soundflower. And then if I stop this and I can stop the recording, I'll basically have this sound available. So if I can now switch the Soundflower output to Zoom audio device, and I'll go back, and I don't need this portion, so I'll cut it out. And let's zoom out a little bit. So hopefully you will hear in over the network whatever we recorded. You can hear it, right? Yeah. Even though, did I share it with Soundflower? I think I had to switch the sharing every time. So I think I'm sharing the right thing right now. So that's kind of the idea. Let me know if I skip something going between different screens. But what we have now, what you should hear is basically the recording from me playing the Lexikon Sonata on a different application, and all the audio is recorded here. So this is kind of a nice way to create your soundtrack with some textures. And of course, you can then keep on editing this after you have this recorded in Audacity and mix it together into a short musical scene that is relevant for the homework. So I'll kind of quickly repeat the steps and make sure that we have the screen every time. So what we did is after installing the Lexikon Sonata and making sure we have the VST plugin, okay, you have to turn it on here. If you want to hear it, you just route your audio to your either speakers. I cannot use my headphones for some reason. The sampling rate here doesn't work together. So that when I route this to a Bluetooth device, I don't hear anything, but it plays through my speakers. So you sometimes might have some issues that not every output device will actually work. But hoping that everything here is okay, you can play by pressing the buttons or the numbers or the letters, create textures. Number 0 is actually stopping the performance. You can also have with the space more sustain pedal on the piano itself, so you can get more resonant sounds. You improvise, you learn the textures, then you can route the output into Soundflower. So we spoke about installing the Soundflower, and once you have the Soundflower installed, you go back to Audacity. Sorry, let's switch the screens. You go to Audacity, and you have your Soundflower as the input device. Yeah, it's interesting. I should have put the output as Zoom audio, but you've heard this as the input. So mysteries of routing audio. But here, your input will be, instead of a microphone, be Soundflower, and then you press the record button, and you switch back to Soundflower, and switch back to Lexikon Sonata. You improvise a little bit, and now you have materials that you can kind of cut and paste and edit for your scene. Some other methods of generating algorithmically music. I'll go back to not Audacity. I want to go back to yeah. Okay, so I went back to the page. So both on the homework instructions and on the page about contemporary techniques, I have these links to some other tools. No, sorry, the other tools are not here. The other tools, I have them in next week's module. So this is why I pasted them already in the homework. So if I go next week, not next class on Wednesday, we'll talk about more experimental composition techniques. And again, we'll repeat some stuff about John Cage and Xenakis. And on the hindsight, it makes sense to move in the future this page to this week's module. So here are some references and some links to other methods. So for instance, one of them is this music lab Chrome experiments. And it has a lot of tools online running in the browser that allow you to compose music. You can just click on some of them, and you can paint and generate some sounds with your brush. One tool that I think many people find especially interesting, the pixel synth. And what it does, just making sure that I'm sharing this, yeah. So what it does, it actually allows take a picture, paint, so I can either use an image, I can draw stuff, I can have different repetitions of strokes and more or less dense. So it gives you an idea of, another way to create these very dense textures, maybe a little bit more ligeti style. And so in order to record them, you have actually also to do routing of audio from the browser to um, Audacity. So making sure that we have this audio routed. Let me see if I can kind of quickly show how it's being done. So so we basically route the output of the system. I'll route this instead of now to Zoom audio, so you won't be able to hear me. I have to route this to Soundflower. And if I route the system audio now to Soundflower, I'll be basically repeating the same process. I will go open the Audacity with Soundflower as the input, and then I can play in the browser, and the sound will be recorded in Audacity, and then you can edit this again. So it's kind of a little bit tricky. It's not like a normal production tool, unlike LMMS. So LMMS and Audacity are real kind of musical tools that people use. Of course, there are different levels of professional packaging. So of course you have DAWs like Ableton or others that you would use maybe in a studio to make more sophisticated work. But Lexikon Sonata or these tools in the browser are fun to play. They're not really professional musical instruments, but they're available, and I think they serve the purpose. So by using the Soundflower routing, which is quite useful for many purposes, even if you want to grab audio from some web web event. This is a way to do this. And so now you can kind of use Audacity for audio editing. You also use Sunflower to route into Audacity, and you can use any other instrument to create your sounds. You may as well record things on your own at home. You can take some, create some sound effects. We'll talk about this next week, how you can take a recording of some home appliance or some other daily kind of like regular sound that you record, and using Audacity you can manipulate this and create a very abstract sound. So when we spoke about the expressionism and the idea that they would distort and process heavily any recorded sound, that was kind of intentional also to kind of take it outside of the context of recognizing the sound source, or at least immediately kind of associating with something that happens in reality, rather than focusing on more imaginary or surrealist aspect of the sound. So kind of taking sounds and twisting them so they become more abstract is really one of the aesthetic approaches to creating sound for games and films. So that's about it. I mean, that's kind of the technical part of using these tools for the third homework. Let me stop the recording and see if you have any questions. Let's see where we are. Okay. Mouse is